All right, Nick, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. We've been looking at young quarterback Jordan Love getting his first introduction to the league, being one of the most exciting teams in all of the NFL this past season. But now I think we're talking about what the next steps for the Packers are. How are they going to go about extending Jordan Love? What is the case going to be here? When is it going to happen? We have a little bit of an update on that situation. So let's get into the article and we'll talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, is from over on 3 Sports. It says, according to Jeremy Fowler, who reported on the Love contract talks on SportsCenter Saturday morning, the late season surge changed the Packers QB market, especially given the figures some other quarterbacks have received. Said this one's interesting because really just the one season small sample size got hot late in the year. Second half was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Fowler said, noting that those couple of months of play completely redefined Love's value across the league, but he believes the Packers have no plans of letting Love go and will ultimately sign him to whatever deal they must before this fall. Said so they're going to try to shake something out. The Packers would like to go get a long-term deal done with Love before training camp. That's their goal. A little bit of pressure on the Packers after all those years of problems and fiascos with Aaron Rodgers. They would like a clean process here just to get this done with Jordan Love, per Fowler. Expect Love tied down to long-term in Green Bay, Wisconsin following a promising 2023. Again, I think the important part here is that he says probably before training camp is when they're looking to get that one done as well. I think this is big news for the Packers. Nick, curious what your thoughts are on this one, but before we get to you Packers fans, talking about extension, talking about guys who get paid a lot of money to do a lot of different things. Sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. So I want to know, who's a player the Packers have extended that you thought was absolutely a giant mistake? Let us know in the comment section below. And while you're down there, check out our list of NFL books that we would recommend reading. I think there's a lot of great options down there. I think you're going to love them all. But I personally would recommend Swagger by Jimmy Johnson. I think that's one of my favorite ones. Autobiography about one of the greatest college and NFL and commentators in all of the football realm, college coach, NFL coach. So check that one out. And while you're down there, just look at our list of books that we recommend as well. But Nick, what are your thoughts on the Jordan Love contract situation?
So I think it's a really smart move by the Packers. And look, I know a lot of people, they don't want to sit there and see publicly, do we really want to kind of give out the game here that we're going to sign Jordan Love before training camp? But the important thing to understand here is when you have the right quarterback, price almost doesn't matter, right? It sounds crazy in a salary cap world, but you have to look at that situation of, okay, we have our guy. Let's just work out the final points of the details. It's going to be some crazy 40, $50 million a year deal over however many years. We just need to get it done because stability at that position, stability in the locker room, stability in the culture matters above everything else, right? If you don't have that stability, if you don't have that buy-in from the quarterback, you're going to have a lot of issues in the locker room, right? And if you look at the Green Bay Packers, they're obviously very well coached with LaFleur, new defensive coordinator Hafley. I think is going to do a good job. They've got a lot of young and veteran talent on defense, a lot of young talent on offense. So we're heading into 2024 with high expectations. You just need to have stability and consistency. And I think Jordan Love getting this deal knocked out before training camp will really help them with that. And like I said before, it really doesn't matter the price to a certain extent. And I know a lot of people that drives people nuts because you see mega deals. Trevor Lawrence got a huge deal. We've seen quarterbacks, Jared Goff, who I think is a little bit overrated, got a mega deal. And the reality is it's worth it, right? Because if you look at the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, absolutely bonkers mega deal from a few years ago. Now Mahomes is cheap. Mahomes is barely inside the top 10. I think he's 10th in terms of average per year cap hit. So you have the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, because the Chiefs signed him to a long, big deal, mega deal at the time. Now the Chiefs are looking like they're in a strong position because based on the rest of the league, they're getting Mahomes at a big discount. That's why you do these big, huge deals. That's why you go in this direction. That's why you make sure you get it done. It almost doesn't matter if you're setting a new market. It's really important that, for example, look at the Bengals with Joe Burrow. Right now, he has the biggest average per year hit of any quarterback in the NFL. Do you think the Bengals care? The Bengals are ecstatic. They got their guy. They're one of the favorites to win the division. They've got a talented roster. They've got the right coach, right? The Bengals have a lot of energy and juice as they're getting ready to 2024. Do you think they care about the cap hit? Right? The Ravens went to the AFC Championship game last year. Lamar Jackson has a top 5 cap hit. They're going to be really good this next year. Do you think they care? Right. If you've got the right quarterback, if you're in the right situation and you're in a contender, the price almost doesn't matter because in the long run, it will all work out. Right. There's a saying in real estate investing, right? That's so common. Everyone hears it all the time. Location, location, location. Right. If you get a good property with a great location, as long as you don't ridiculously overpay, like something bonkers, in the long run, it'll work out. It's the same thing with quarterbacks. That's why it's really smart for the Packers to get this deal done with Jordan Love. I think it's a great sign that they're going to get it done before camp, get this situation resolved, and get all eyes focused on the regular season.
Yeah, Nick, and I think this is good timing and good planning by the Packers as well, because we've talked about on this channel, there's really kind of generally two ways to build a team. You can have a really young quarterback on a rookie deal with tons of top end free agents around them, kind of the 49ers path of doing things. Or you can do the Chiefs, Patriots way of doing things, have your centerpiece at quarterback with a lot of really young guys around them. I think that the Packers, if they time this right, they can extend Jordan Love. And in a couple of years, when they have to come, hey, these very young, great playmakers all around the ball they have, like Watson's, like your Dobbs, like your Jaden Reed. I think there's a lot of great players around the ball, but they're all really young. They're all still on early rookie deals. I think Jordan Love, if you get him at the right time, we're going to have a Mahomes situation where there's a couple guys that get extended after him, and Jordan Love's not going to be the highest paid guy anymore, and you have room to pay these other guys around the ball. So I think the timing, everything that is coming around, it worked out perfectly for the Packers. I think they're in a really good situation. They have a young core. They have a quarterback who is good timing as far as when he needs his deal. It's not really going to affect any of your other playmakers around the ball right now. I just think everything has worked out great for the Packers. If not by design, then they had a genius stroke of luck. Gutekunst did a fantastic job. But I think this was somewhat by design, but I love what's going on with the Packers, and I think if they get this thing done by training camp, it is going to be one of the best moves they've ever made.
And if you look at this decision they've made, right? Because I think it's obvious they made the decision based on this reporting. Jeremy Fowler, smart guy, has good sources, right? They're going to get Jordan Love to a huge deal before training camp. If you look at this decision, and you kind of brought it up, and I think it's important, why this is so smart is that if you look out in 2025, currently, according to overthecap.com, the Packers have $48 million in free cap space, right? Now, that sounds like a big number, but a lot of teams don't have a lot of people under contract year to year. So a lot of that has to go in re-signings and filling holes in the roster. The Packers aren't in that case. These are the people the Packers have under contract next season. Kenny Clark, Jair Alexander, Elton Jenkins, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, Xavier McKinney, Jacobs, Nixon, Van Ness, Walker, Wyatt, Watson, Musgrave, Reed. List goes on and on and on and on. Like you said, they got so much young talent that's already under contract. All of their cap space, they can, not all of it, but a good chunk of it, they can use to allocate to give Jordan Love a really aggressive deal, front loading it and maybe spreading out the out years on the back end like the Chiefs did with Mahomes, right? This is a master stroke setup here by the Green Bay Packers in terms of managing the salary cap, keeping the team stable, and making sure they lock down their franchise quarterback. Great move once again by the Packers front office.